Hi everyone, I hope you're all doing well. It's time to find out what the next 5 reads are going to be. Now, as always, I pick my books from my jars. I've got my Priority Reads jar, my Catherine Cookson jar, and then my Advent Calendar jar. So 2 from Priority Reads, 2 from Catherine Cookson, 1 from my Advent jar. And that is going to continue, but I've got a slight amendment for this one video. So basically, the priority reads, I pick out what my priority reads are going to be, and I put about 10 of them in the jar, and then that way when I pick them, you know, they're at random and they're the 10 at the moment I want to read. But because I've been distracted with work and doing other things and reading The Armour of Light, I haven't gotten round to organising the jar and realised that I, needed to do that, but I didn't have time to. So what I have done is that I realised I bought 2 books last week that I really, really desperately want to read right now. So rather than picking 2 from the jar, I'm just going to have those 2 be my next reads. And I will make sure that the priority reads jar is sorted out before the next time that I need to do one of these videos. So there we go. So here are the first 2 reads that I am going to be reading next. And the first one is A Story of Murder by Hallie Rubenhold. So and you may not realise or may not remember, I don't know, I read The Five by Hallie Rubenhold, and I fell head over heels in love with that book. It's years ago now, a few years ago now, and I just fell in love with it. It was extraordinary that she told from a feminist perspective the lives of the victims of Jack the Ripper. Rather than focusing on their deaths and focusing on Jack, she focused on them when they were alive, and I loved that. I have listened to audiobook versions of other books of hers as well, and this is her brand new book. I wasn't able to get it when it came out, with me being on holiday and stuff like that. It's only recently been published. And have I actually got a date on here? No, I do not, but I think it was literally around March time that I went into Hatchards in Cheltenham for Easter weekend. I just thought I'd have a look around, and not only did they have a copy of this book, it's a signed copy. I have got a signed Hallie Rubenhold book, and I'm like, oh my god! So yes, I desperately want to read this, especially because Hallie writes her books, which are all non-fiction, from a female perspective on various things in history. She's a social historian, and following the success of The Five, focusing on the victims of Jack the Ripper, she has now decided to look into the case of Crippen. I find the Crippen case really, really interesting. And here's a blurb from the back. So it says, "No murderer should ever be the keeper of their victim's story. On the 1st of February 1910, vivacious musical performer Belle Elmore suddenly vanished from her North London home. Her circle of female friends, the entertainers of the Music Hall Ladies Guild, raised the alarm with the police. They could not have known what was about to unfold, the unearthing of a gruesome secret, followed by a fevered manhunt for Belle's husband, medical fraudster Dr. Hawley Harvey Crippen. Hidden in the shadows of this tale is Crippen's typist and lover, Ethel Leneve. Was she really just an innocent young girl in thrall to the powerful older man? And is there an equally sinister story behind the deaths of his first wife, Charlotte? In this epic examination of one of the most infamous murders of the 20th century, prize-winning social historian Hallie Rubenhold gives voice to those who have never properly been heard, the women. Brimming with twists and featuring a carnival cast of eccentric entertainers, starry lawyers, zealous detectives, medics and liars, Story of a Murder offers an electrifying snapshot of Britain and America at the dawn of the modern era." hell yeah, I get to explore the Crippen place with Hallie Rubenhold, and it's a signed copy. I was just like, I had to buy this. I could not leave the bookshop without this book. And yeah, it's what I'm going to be reading next. So coming soon will be a review of Story of a Murder by Hallie Rubenhold. And I love the fact it's called The Wives, the Wives, the Mistress, and Dr. Crippen. It's in text, something like that is so cool. So yeah. Story of a Murder. There we go. Okay. And the second book I bought on the same day is Miranda Hart's I Haven't Been Entirely Honest With You. Now, Miranda Hart released this on the build up to Christmas, but I just never got round to buying it. And then I was just in Waterstones and they had a stack of them, and I was like, I can't leave this bookshop without this. So I've been a fan of Miranda Hart since she released her TV sitcom Miranda. I read and have her first book, which I really enjoyed, and I also listened to the audiobook of that. I've got what I believe is her second book, Peggy and Me, but I never got around to reading that. It's on my TBR. It's in my jar of my various reads that I've never got around to, and I haven't read any of her others. And then she released this one, and she revealed when she released it that she's actually been living for quite some time with a chronic medical condition, and how that impacted her mental health and what she has learned from it. And she wrote this book. And it says, "Hello to you, my dear reader chum. It's lovely to be in your hands. You may not expect this, but I have spent large parts of the last decade really rather ill and feeling very alone. But surprisingly, in the darkness, I found some important answers. I discovered a joy, peace, and freedom I never thought possible. I believe these treasures are possible for everyone. My loveliest reader chum, you are a unique masterpiece and deserve all such things, and I hope my story helps your story. But back to me, which the book is basically all about. We'll have such fun along the way. Oh, and there's a love story too. Do come with." So yeah, I found it really interesting listening to her talk about her dealing with an illness that she just has, issues with daily. And yeah, and there's someone with endometriosis and such, who I get some of the things that I've heard her talk about. And so I wanted to read the story. So I got Miranda Hart's I Haven't Been Entirely Honest With You. So that's the second of the 5 reads that I'll be reading next. So now we can actually go over to my jars, and let's get back to the astonishing Catherine Cookson. I can't believe there's not many bits of paper left. I'm nearly at the end of my Catherine Cookson list. This is insane. But yeah, I'm going to pick 2 from the jar, and there is a trilogy in here. If I pick a trilogy, I'm only going to pick that one thing. But all of the others are standalone. So let's see. One is a collection. But, it's not too big of a collection, so I'd count that as one. Okay, let's go for this one. Oh, no, okay, I actually picked out these just 2. It's just 2, so let's go. This was the one. So if this is a trilogy, I'll put this one back in the jar, but if it's not, then these are the 2 that I'm picking. Okay, so this was the one that I grabbed first. So... oh, it's a single book. It's Pure as the Lily. Right, let me see if I can find... there it is. There we go. Pure as the Lily. It looks like it must be, I don't know, maybe 1920s or something. Let's see if I can find, if it indicates... oh, 1933 is where it starts. Oh, interesting. And when was this published? This was first published in 1972. Okay, so it says, Alec Walton's love for his daughter Mary was the main theme of his life. Mary was his only comfort during the dark years of the Depression, when unemployment and a nagging, ambitious wife gnawed away his self-respect. His one hope was that Mary would escape from the grinding poverty of Townside slums, which had held him prisoner for so many years. But then something happened to Mary which shattered all of his dreams for her future, something which was to split the family and dominate its members for generations to follow. Okay, interesting. I don't believe this is one of the adaptations. No, I don't. I honestly don't think that is the case. And I gather this is Mary, and I gather that this is Alec. And it looks like he's got like a shop. It says To Let General Store. So I gather that's his shop. I have no idea, but we're going to find out. So, yeah, so number 3 is Pure as the Lily. And as I said, because that was a single book that got picked, I'm going to have this be the second one. So, oh, and it's another standalone. So it's not the trilogy. And it is, there it is. The Invitation. Now, this looks more like 70s. Let's see when it was published. Oh, it was published in 1970. Okay. And there is nothing on chapter titles to indicate the year of the setting of the book. So I'm going to gather that this is one of the, at the time, modern book settings. Okay, so The Invitation. Oh, and it doesn't actually have a blurb about what the story is about. That's very strange. It just has quotes from people. So I have absolutely no idea what this book is about. I've never had this before, where there's no information whatsoever. There's a blurb about Catherine's life and such, a list of her books, and then the invitation, and then it starts. And yeah, the back is just quotes from people. Okay, this is really weird. So the invitation, I can't tell you what it's about. I have no idea what it is about, but let's go for the ride. So there we go. The Invitation is number 4. And finally, we have my Advent books. So these are, not to think, my last Advent calendar was the one that my mum made. It doesn't involve any of those because I've gone through them now. But these are Advent books from Shop by Mum calendar and the Bookishy calendar I got for 2022 and 2023. So I'm just going to pick one of these at random. So, let's go for this one. Okay. And the book is Summer Nights at the Moonlight Hotel by Jane Costello. There it is. So this is one of the Shop by Mum books, which was a Etsy store, and it was about secondhand books, that having books to open as Advent calendars, basically. So I picked the genres that I was interested in, and this was one of the ones that came up under romance. So it says, the Moonlight Hotel sits on the shores of England's best-loved Lake Windermere, eluding vintage glamour. Lauren loves the hotel, for hidden inside its faded walls is the key to her most precious memories. So along with her best friends, Kate and Emily, she signs up to a new dance class in its glorious ballroom. They aren't going for the men, they're going for a laugh, although a little romance wouldn't hurt. But then a chain of events off the dance floor puts their friendship to the ultimate test and makes Lauren question everything she holds dear. Put on your dancing shoes and escape to the Moonlight Hotel for Jane's funniest and most poignant novel yet. I've never read any of Jane's books, so I don't know if that is the case, but yeah, I'm intrigued to find out what happens to Summer Nights at the Moonlight Hotel. So there we go. Those are my next 5 reads. One of them, I have absolutely no idea what the plot is, so that'll be fun. But just to summarise, the next 5 books I'm reading are Story of a Murder, Then I Haven't Been Entirely Honest with You, Pure as the Lily, The Invitation, and then Summer Nights at the Moonlight Hotel. I hope you are interested in those books. Please let me know if you are. And yeah, I'll be back with my thoughts on Story of a Murder by Hallie Rubenhold as soon as I'm done. All right, then, everyone. Bye.